What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Colten Kahler Show. Here it's Saturday morning, July 23rd, here at 8:30 in the morning. Welcome back. It's been a while since we've been able to get on here and do the Colten Kahler Show, but it's always good to be here when I can, give you my hot sports takes, get you your burning questions out of the way. But hey, let's get into it. Let's get into our headlines here today. Blue Jays last night set a franchise record for 28 runs against the Boston Red Sox. They won 28-5. I believe they scored 23 in the first 5 innings. So that one, it's about as much as you can say for that. Yankees got some bad news yesterday. Michael King has a broken elbow, and he fractured elbow, and he is out for the season. Matthew Tkachuk, sorry, St. Louis fans, he was traded last night to the Florida Panthers. Panthers gave up a haul to get Tkachuk, so that's a big return for the Flames. Cardinals lost last night 9-5, to the Cincinnati Reds. And that's about it for the headlines here this morning. So, hey, if you've got comments, drop them in. I'll put them up here. But we'll get right into it. You know, there's been the burning hot take. There's been the hot rumors. Juan Soto is arguably the top trade prospect right now because of his demand. And the St. Louis Cardinals right now are the front runner to land him. I believe they have plus 300 odds to win the bet for landing Juan Soto, and the Yankees are plus 330 to win the World Series. So the Cardinals have better odds than the Yankees do to win the World Series, but the Cardinals' odds are for Juan Soto. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. But anyways, it's not going to happen. It's not. We were very frustrated a little bit last night that Matthew Tkachuk was not traded to the Blues. But when you look at what the Panthers gave up to get Tkachuk, I mean, you got to be happy that St. Louis did not do that. So now the pressure is on John Mozeliak, Bill DeWitt, and company. The Mets, they said that they're out. The Yankees, most notably, said that they're out as well. So that really leaves the Cardinals and the Giants, in my opinion, as the top two spots that really could land him. And both teams have prospects. They have guys that can play now. It doesn't make sense. There's no way you can watch last night's game and tell me, oh, Juan Soto, it needs to come to St. Louis. St. Louis needs Juan Soto. You cannot tell me that after watching last night's game. There's no way. We need pitching. We need pitching, and that's the bottom line. I'm sorry. If you think any other way, you're wrong. I mean, you cannot watch last night's game, watch Adam Wainwright struggle yet again against the Cincinnati Reds and say, yes, Juan Soto is the best thing for our team right now. No, we need a Frankie Montas. We need a Noah Syndergaard. We need a Madison Bumgarner. We need a Paul Blackburn. We need pitching, folks. We don't need a guy that's hitting 250 right now, and you say he's the greatest, one of the greatest hitters in all the game and blah, blah, blah right now. He's been in the league for 4 or 5 years. No, Juan Soto, you're going to overpay for him. You're going to give up your entire future for 2.5 years. In 2.5 years, we're going to be in the same position without Juan Soto. We have no future because we gave it all away, and who knows if we even have a World Series. Right now, you can win a World Series, and you can contend if you get pitching. That's the bottom line. And heaven forbid that St. Louis Cardinals Twitter does not get their way, and they will probably be very upset when Juan Soto does not end up as a St. Louis Cardinal, because the Cardinals need pitching. Adam Wainwright, as much as I love the guy, he's over the hill. If he can't beat the Reds, he's not going to give you much. Miles Michaelis, he'll pitch on Sunday. We'll see what he can give us. I mean, he was good in his last outing against the Reds after the home run to start the game. But the Cardinals, I mean, you cannot rely on Steven Matz, who starts today. He hasn't pitched since May 22nd. Came out in the first inning after throwing 4 pitches, I think, and it was his long shoulder issue. So he comes back today. Who knows what we're going to get from him? But even before he wasn't injured, he wasn't that good. He's got a 3-6 record, I believe. Is that what today is? Let me pull it up here for a second. Mats, he's a 3-3 record with a 6.03 ERA in 37 and a third innings pitched. That's not good. That is not good. But he's got a battle, and right now that's all St. Louis needs. But Juan Soto does not give Andre Palante a rubber arm. Palante is nearing the most innings he has thrown since high school. I mean, there's no way that this guy is going to be able to compete. I mean, it's the bottom line. I'm sorry. Tanner says, love the hot take. Hey, Tanner, thank you. Appreciate the comment. Juan Soto's he shouldn't be a St. Louis Cardinal. You cannot give up your entire future for one guy. I mean, it doesn't make sense. And to give up Jordan Walker, it goes against everything that's, this front office, builds themselves on, right? I was at, Bloggers Day last weekend, and John Mozeliak says, we are a team that has to build through the draft. We have to sign well internationally, and we have to develop kids through the farm system. You're trading away your future possible third baseman or wherever Jordan Walker decides to play. You're giving up possibly Mason Wynn, and you're giving up at least two guys right now that are helping you at the major league level. It's not worth it for a guy that's batting 250 right now, who's a liability on defense. Oh, which, by the way, St. Louis kind of prides themselves on, because in one season since 2018, Juan Soto's had a positive WAR. Every other year has been a negative WAR. That's terrible. The dude's a liability in the outfield, and you can't put him at DH because you have too many guys that you have to put there. And if you trade for him, you're likely giving up one of your outfielders that you're going to have to put Soto out there. It's a bad move for the St. Louis Cardinals to get Juan Soto. And in 2.5 years, we'll be looking back with no future, no plans, no Juan Soto. And we're going to be stuck. We're going to be back at square one, and we're not going to be able to compete because we gave away our entire future banking on this guy. So, if you've got any comments about Juan Soto, about his, whole situation here, early on, it seemed like St. Louis was going to be in the running just because we've got enough guys, both prospects and guys currently that can, pick that up. I believe that the Nationals want to throw Patrick Corbin in there, which does St. Louis no good. The guy's like 4-12 with a 5.87 ERA. I mean, he's god awful. And that does them no good. I mean, that's worse than any other guy that they're going to throw out there. So St. Louis really needs to make a move for pitching. They need to pass on Juan Soto. Cardinals Twitter can be mad at me all you want yesterday, calling me a bozo or saying, you'd fire me from my job or whatever. I don't really care because it's the truth and you don't want to hear it. You're just stuck in la la land and you want to be right. You want, this generational talent that we think Juan Soto is. And it's stupid. It's stupid for the Cardinals to trade for Juan Soto. So, next topic. Yeah, we'll just get right to the game today. Cardinals, Reds, 5:40 start time. Steven Matz against Mike Minor. Cardinals are the favorite, -1.5 on the run line, -165 on the money line. Last night was a little embarrassing. It was pretty embarrassing. I mean, Adam Wainwright got 2 runs early of support, then gives up 4 in the second inning, gives up another one in the third, and then the bullpen really kind of threw things out the window a little bit. But Wainwright gets tagged for 7 earned runs and 5 1/3. His record goes to 6-8 on the year. Cardinals offense didn't really hit all that well. Tommy Edman, 1 for 4. I think he's batting like 220 in the leadoff spot here in July. The Cardinals last year in June was really their bad month. And right now, July is their bad month. I mean, it's been bad. But they've got to find a way to turn it around. And I believe that starts with pitching. Frankie Montas the other night only pitched 3 innings, but he struck out 5 I believe, gave up 1 hit in 3 innings. I mean, pretty good. So he should be top on the dock there. Tyler O'Neill, 1 for 4 last night, had 2 RBIs though. Paul Goldschmidt, 2 for 5. Arenado, 2 for 5. Nolan Gorman, 0 for 5. Dylan Carlson, he's been very good as of late in this month. 2 for 4 last night. Donovan, 1 for 4. Austin Romine, 1 for 3. I mean, Yadier Molina cannot come back soon enough. We're still waiting on to see where Yadi ends up for his rehab assignment. Will it be Peoria? Will it be Memphis or Springfield? Because they're all home here in the next, few weeks for the end of the month. Hopefully Yadi's back by the beginning of August. But this pitching staff really needs Yadi, and it has not been more, true than what we've seen here in the last few weeks. Unfortunately, Andrew Kisner just does not seem to be the answer. And obviously, Austin Romine, good Lord, if that's the answer, we are in deep, deep trouble. So, the Reds last night came out hitting. Even though Cardinals out-hit the Reds 10-7, Reds outscored the Cardinals 9-5, the most important variable. So, as I mentioned, Steven Matz 3-3 with a 6.03 ERA in 37 1/3 innings pitched. He gave up 8 homers and 8 walks with 44 strikeouts. Mike Minor, a 1-6 record, a 6.21 ERA in 42 innings pitched. He's walked 15, struck out 38, and gave up 12 home runs. Paul Goldschmidt continues to just be on an absolute tear and show why he's arguably and should be the NL MVP. Had the home run in the All-Star game, that shot early put the NL up 2-0, and then the NL just decided to be the St. Louis Cardinals and not score for the rest of the night. Last night hit the 2-run blast. I mean, he's tracking the ball well. He's seen it well. And Paul Goldschmidt continues to lead the way here for the St. Louis Cardinals, but they need help. Soto would be another power bat that you could add to that lineup. You have to pitch to Juan Soto, you got to pitch to Paul Goldschmidt, you got to pitch to Nolan Arenado. Those 3 in a row would be a tough trio to see. And then you also have Tyler O'Neill, who, if he can just stay healthy, eventually he'll work his way back to, hitting very well. The rookies, they've got to step up. They've been pretty bad as of late. Gorman has been, all right. Donovan has been not so great. Yepes, his opportunities seem to be dwindling a little bit. But St. Louis has got to find a way to get it done. But in order to contend, you need pitching. You can have all the offense in the world, but if you don't have guys that can go out, give you valuable innings, that can eat innings for you, it doesn't mean anything in the long run. And St. Louis still will not have a World Series. But there's also a chance that you can go out and sign arms. But you've got a lot of things to work through because, Nolan Arenado does have an opt-out after this year. There's a few other contracts that you'll be getting rid of, but you got to add on as well. So that will do it for our St. Louis Cardinals talk. We'll look elsewhere around the MLB today. Cleveland at the White Sox. I believe the Guardians won last night. The Guardians have been pretty good, I will say. Here this year, they are 3 games above 500. They struggle on the road, but they're in a spot to possibly get a wild card. They're only 1.5 games back of the Minnesota Twins. Both Central Divisions, American League and National League, are just brutal this year. Just absolutely brutal. But that game starts at 12:10 today. Houston and Seattle, 3:10 start. Seattle has been very hot as of late. They had a record coming into the game, I believe, 14 in a row, but they lost last night at 5-2 to the Astros. Julio Rodriguez put on an absolute show in the All-Star game and in the Home Run Derby. That was unbelievable to see from him. So that starts at 3:10 today on FS1. Last night, the massacre in Boston. Round 2 today, 3:10 Central Time, Toronto at Boston. Chicago, they put up a large number on Philadelphia last night. Marcus Stroman going today for the Cubs versus Zach Wheeler. I don't like the Cubs' chances of winning that one. Minnesota and Detroit, obviously Cardinals and Cincinnati. New York at Baltimore, they won 7-6 last night. Aaron Judge with 2 home runs, one including a 465-foot bomb. Last night, had a doozy between the Rockies and the Brewers. The Brewers end up pulling out the victory in 13 innings, 6-5. So Milwaukee now holds a 1.5 game lead on the Cardinals in the Central Division. What other games we got here? Ooh, good one here. San Diego and the Mets, 6:10 Central Time. Blake Snell, Chris Bassett. That's 2 teams to keep an eye on. San Diego, I have heard, has been in rumors of acquiring Ian Happ, possible outfielder. Need to keep an eye on Tatis Jr. Eventually he will come back. It's a doubleheader today for the Guardians and the White Sox because their second game, 6:15 tonight on Fox. Obviously, the Giants and Dodgers are going on right now. Dodgers have won the first 2 games. Cody Bellinger with the go-ahead grand slam in the bottom of the 8th last night. Angels and the Braves, and that really does it for the meaningful games. So, again, you got any questions, drop them in here. I'll throw them up. We'll talk about it. But if that's it, we'll move on to our next topic. And our next topic is St. Louis Blues. It's been a little bit of a rough offseason here for the Blues. They lost David Perron. They lost Ville Husso, which, I mean, Husso's not that big of a loss, in my opinion, because Jordan Binnington showed you he's the guy last year. You've got to find a way to add on here because you lost out on the Tkachuk trade. But you look at what was acquired for Matthew Tkachuk yesterday. Wow. Let's take a look at it here. Basically, the Panthers gave up their best player, another top-end player, and their top prospect and a first-round pick, all for Matthew Tkachuk. And then Tkachuk signed an 8-year extension with the Panthers to do this. It was one of his top destinations. I mean, that's like St. Louis having to give up Colton Parayko, Jordan Kyrou. I mean, maybe Robert Thomas, but they weren't going to give up Thomas. So Jordan Kyrou, Colton Parayko, their top prospect, and the first-round pick, all from Matthew Tkachuk. I mean, that's I don't think one St. Louis could swallow and afford. So they've got to go back to the drawing board. Doug Armstrong on the last few years has done a phenomenal job of finding ways to get trades here and there, to get signings that eventually lead to a Stanley Cup or to a playoff run. Last year had Binnington not got hurt, could have been a much different story, and maybe the Colorado Avalanche aren't your Stanley Cup champions. I mean, who knows? But you lost out on Perron, who a guy that wanted to stay in St. Louis. They've got to fight the cap space. You've got a guy in Vladimir Tarasenko who really doesn't want to be here. And he hits free agency next year, so you'd rather trade him now, right, than get nothing in return next year when he becomes an unrestricted free agent. Torrey Krug is eating up a ton of cap space. You got to find something to do with him. There's so many things that they've got to work around, and I don't know if there's enough time to get it all done. I really don't. I don't even know where the St. Louis Blues turn from here and go, but they've got to do something because they have not gotten better since the draft. They've not gotten better since the end of the season, and they'll be fighting an uphill battle next year. Yeah, it's a tough one to lose out on because there was so much talk around the team that possibly St. Louis could be getting both Juan Soto and Matthew Tkachuk, and there's a lot of speculation, obviously, around that. Yeah, it would have been nice, but looking at that cost that the Panthers paid last night, no, thank you. So Golf, the 3M Open is currently going on. Hideki Matsuyama was one of my picks to win, and that has not turned out so well. He withdrew in the first round due to a wrist injury, hit 3 in the water on one of the holes. I don't think any of my picks are doing very well. The cut line was at +1, it looks like. Let's see. Did any of my picks make the cut? I don't see anyone. I'll just show you my picks here real quick. I had Hideki and Sathi Thigala, I believe is how you say his name. He was arguably one of the top players and one of the top rookies this year. Could be PGA Tour Rookie of the Year. I don't see his name. I don't know. But I know Hideki obviously did not make the cut. Scott Piercy is your leader at 13 under. Imani Grillo at 10 under, second place. Sunjay M, I did talk about him as possibly one that could win this week. -7, tied for fourth right now. Tony Finau, -7. JT Poston, -5. There's not a lot of big names in this tournament. So kind of a disappointing week for my picks. Especially with Hideki withdrawing after the first round. Again, if you got comments, throw them up there. We've got about a couple minutes left before we sign off here on this Saturday morning. Getting ready for football season. Got some more work to do. High school football starts in less than 5 weeks now, as I'll be heading back in for another year inside the booth here with the Metamora Redbirds. But yeah, if you got any burning hot takes, anything you want to talk about, football, basketball, baseball, hockey, send them my way in the comments here. We'll throw them up on the screen and we'll talk about it. Football, obviously some big news going around lately is all of the helmets that are, the alternate helmets. It started with the Giants. The Cowboys are going to bring back their alternate helmets for Thanksgiving Day. I believe the Jets put out some. The Bengals are going with the all whites. Let me call in. Unfortunately, I don't think you can call in. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think there's a way of doing that. But if you got something, just like you did, type it in and I'll throw it up here. Anything that you got, Discord. Oh, I don't have access to Discord right now, unfortunately. But just throw it here in the chat and I'll put it up, and we'll get you up there. But yeah, I got a few minutes left here, just wrapping things up. We've talked about Juan Soto, why it's not a good move for the St. Louis Cardinals. Just it's too much to give up, unfortunately. I've gone back and forth on this, and after yesterday, I'm solely against the idea now. And I think St. Louis fans are really convincing themselves that they're going to pick him up, and they're not. I really don't think that they will, because I don't think that the front office will, I don't think that they'll go put their chips all in. Because it's so much to get him. And they say, oh, yeah, that's 3 years of contending for a World Series. That's not guaranteed. Right now, if the playoffs started today, St. Louis is not in. And you know why that is? It's because their pitching rotation is terrible. I mean, Miles Michaelis has been good this year. Adam Wainwright's been hit and miss. And then other than that, I mean, getting Juan Soto is not going to make Dakota Hudson any better. It's not going to make Andre Palante any better. It's not going to make our fifth starter, whether that's Steven Matz, you name it. You put anybody in there. It's been a joke this year, really, for the St. Louis Cardinals, and that's because they didn't do anything in the offseason last year, coming off arguably one of the better offseason signing periods for starting pitchers, and they just didn't do anything. So I think Frankie Montas should be at the top of your prospect list for trades. Madison Bumgarner, unfortunately, he would be good, but there's a large, contract that you have to take on. There is also, you've got to give up a little bit to get him. I think Montas is your best option. I mean, Zach Greinke, could be an option. Noah Syndergaard would be relatively cheap, I think, if you could get him. He's 29 years old. He's not the Noah Syndergaard of 2019, 18, and 17. We all know that. But I still think that he can contribute in a way to where he can eat innings, and maybe he can come back and rejuvenate himself, much like John Lester did at the end of last year. J.A. Happ did as well. The Cardinals are pretty savvy when it comes to making moves at the deadline, and in years that they have, it's worked out all right. Look at 2011, they got some bullpen arms. Octavio Dotel, I believe, was one of those bullpen arms that they picked up at the trade deadline. That worked out very well. But St. Louis has got to make some moves. Matt Holliday was a trade that worked out. You've got to do something because you've got to go all in. And by all in, I mean bettering your team. Does Juan Soto better your offense? Yes. But does it help your pitching staff and help your chances of winning a World Series? No. Because as I've said time in and time out today, you can score all the runs in the world that you want, but if you don't have a pitcher that can get outs and I'll not allow the other team to score runs, as we saw last night, doesn't matter. You're going to lose the game. So if that's it, we'll end it here today. So thanks for tuning in. This has been the Colten Kahler Show. We'll see you next week before we head out on vacation. But for me today, that'll do it. Thanks, and we'll see you next week.